So it looks like the Sauber Audi deal for 2026 could be on the ropes again. This isn't the first time we've heard rumours that the Audi deal could be on the ropes, and with VW's history with F1, that's not a massive surprise. And what could this mean for Andretti? Is this an opportunity for them to get into F1 by purchasing Audi's stake of Sauber? Perhaps. Let's talk about it. So this all stems from this Autosport article, Audi's F1 project under fresh uncertainty as senior figure faces exit. It's all to do with this geezer right here, Oliver Hoffmann, member of the board of management for technical development, their chief technical officer, for want of a better word, with Audi. This geezer here, he was pictured at the Audi launch when they brought out the car with a nice livery on in 2022. Since March 1st, 2021, Oliver Hoffmann will serve on the board of management of Audi AG with responsibility for the technical development division. Why is this leading to speculation around the future of this Audi entrant? Well, it appears that basically Audi aren't performing that well. They're not selling enough road cars, and to justify coming into F1 to spend all of this money, you need to be in a sound financial position as an organisation to justify that, right? Look at why Honda left the sport when they did in 2008 before they could reap the rewards of their brawn in 2009. Now, it's not necessarily to that extent, the financial crisis, although things aren't great right now. It's not quite to the extent it was back then relative, but that is essentially why this is coming about. So Marcus Duisman, don't know how you pronounce that, who was a key advocate for the F1 project, has already left. Now Oliver Hoffmann looks like he's on the ropes. Oliver Hoffmann, no H in his name. Who needs that? And it's not just Autosport showing this, by the way. Reuters as well. Audi head wants to sack chief technical officer, reports Bild. So Gernot Dollner is the top dog. He's the geezer, the chairman of the board of management of Audi AG. Gernot, this fella, right? This is the guy who wants Hoffmann gone, allegedly, according to these articles anyway. And, I mean, look, since then, he's been a member of the board of management of VW Group, heads the brand group Progressive, which includes Audi, Bentley, Lamborghini, and Ducati. So, big player in the Audi organisation. He's the biggest player in the Audi organisation. And, look, remember when Red Bull and Porsche was the thing, right? We thought that was going to happen. We thought that was going to get over the line. Porsche is part of the VW group as well. It's not the track record hasn't been great, has it? It's not been great with the VW group relative to Formula One. Look, we're assuming this still goes ahead. Sauber is now 50% now owned by Audi. It was 25% owned, purchased in 2023. 50% owned 2024, 75% owned in 2025. The point of Audi's takeover is to have a controlling stake in that team. Finn Raussin, who's the Finnish, I think, billionaire who kind of owns Sauber at the moment, he would maintain his 25% stake in the team, no pun intended, with Audi having 75%. I mean, controlling stake 75% is enough for Audi to do with the team whatever they want. But again, Hoffmann is blamed for the fact that Audi is struggling with sluggish sales figures, and the models planned under his direction have either not been as successful as hoped or repeatedly postponed. This is where it gets a bit tricky, because obviously the Audi takeover is well into it picked up some steam, right? You've got Andreas Seidel, who's moved over. He obviously used to be part of Porsche, VW Group. He's now in charge at Sauber of transitioning this team into something serious. And do I think the concerns would be as significant as they are if Sauber was actually performing right now? No. I think that maybe Audi would be looking at this team if they were where, say, Aston Martin are right now and think, you know what? Yeah, we're doing pretty well. I think we're going to inherit a team that's in a good place. But as things stand, they were the slowest team in qualifying last year. 1 lap pace, they were stone dead last. Who knows how things are going to develop this year? I've not got a huge amount of confidence just because I think that's the weakest driver lineup on the grid. You see enough of these articles, there's no smoke without fire, okay? There's no smoke without fire. And you look at this statement, Dollner, again, this fella, right, the one who actually leads up Audi, publicly committed to Audi's planned 26 entry in an interview publicised in December 23, so only a couple of months ago. And is this the statement of someone who is convinced and passionate and assured in their F1 entry? There is a clear decision from the board of management and the supervisory boards of Audi and Volkswagen that Audi will enter Formula One in 2026. The plan is in place. The plan. I mean, don't try and reassure us too much, Gurno, right? Don't really push the boat out to try and assure us. Look, I don't know. It feels like this could be on the ropes. It could very much be on the ropes. And when you look at the valuation, timing of finding a buyer, if Audi did want to sell their shares, could be good. F1 is in a strong place commercially anyway. And if they did pay, 600 million euros for a 75% stake in that team, not all in one hit, of course, but then that values the whole team at 800 million euros, which, given when that deal was done back in, 2022, that's kind of fair, right? I think that's a fair for that team, considering where they are, and the top teams, Ferrari and Mercedes, are all valued at like 4 billion or whatever. That sounds about right. If Audi were like, actually, we don't fancy this. Our car sales are struggling. We can't really justify an F1 entry. Audi have pulled out of loads of customer racing as well, which is a huge shame because Audi sports car racing, that R8 is synonymous with sports car racing. And no more. It seems that they're putting all their motorsport eggs into F1's basket, or just none at all, if, Gurno doesn't see it as the way forward. But this is where I think the potential for Andretti to come in makes sense, because it's already kind of happened. Like, Andretti has already almost bought Sauber. Control issues cited in this article from the race for the Sauber F1 deal collapse. It was a very F1 paddock was abuzz with speculation of Andretti buying into Sauber's controlling company Islero Investments for the past month, and it mentions in here something about an 80% ownership of the team, but then there's this 50 million per year package for 5 years on top of that, and basically it seems that the Andrettis didn't believe they would get as enough control to justify doing the deal, although it seemed to get quite far. The question is, given Andretti just got rejected again, right, which sucks, none of us like to see that, is this their best route in? Purchasing a pre-existing team, taking that over, bringing the Andretti name in? Because that's where I'm kind of on the fence. Because, look, in one way, for them to buy Sauber and have that Andretti name in Formula One, of course it's super exciting. But to then lose Sauber and it would almost be like F1 are getting their own way. They didn't want an 11th team. And if they just buy Sauber, we still won't have an 11th team. And I'm kind of like, I don't really want that. Because at the same time as well, if Andretti does buy a controlling stake in Sauber and take that team over, what does that say for the future of that Himwil Switzerland base? It is a difficult location in terms of getting top quality staff because of its relative isolation. You could argue, of course, like talent in many of the surrounding countries, Belgium, Germany, France, and all that could be drawn towards that team. But as far as I'm aware, as far as I've read, that location has been more of a hindrance than a help over their history. So Andretti coming in, would they keep the team in that base for long? Would they look to move that team to their Fishers, Indiana base and essentially be buying Sauber for the sake of getting that entry and then selling off the factory and, cracking on their own in Fishers, Indiana, having their little satellite base in the UK, which they've already set up. We know this. We've seen the images. I mean, the ideal for me is that they get an 11th entry on their own. But you come back to the 600 million figure here. Well, obviously, with this new potential Concord agreement that's potentially going to be agreed fairly soon, they're definitely going to up the entry fee. It's 200 million now. None of the teams think that's enough. And when you think that's split between 10 teams, 20 million a piece in the back pocket for another entrant. I get why the teams are probably like, it's not worth it to them. But 600 million is kind of the figure that's being thrown around as the new figure. So if you're Andretti, do you buy the Audi stake in Sauber that Audi purchased for 600 million? Because Audi can get out here. They'll look ridiculous if they do get out, but they could actually make a bit of money because they could almost certainly sell that stake for more than 600 million, more than the 600 million they paid for a 75% stake. If Andretti come in and be like, we'll give you 800 million for it, then that buys them an entrance in. It means all the work they've done hasn't necessarily gone to waste. It gets them on the grid, at least a couple of seasons earlier. This is assuming that Andretti do eventually get in with Cadillac, but that isn't looking likely till 2028. If Andretti want to be in from like 2026, for example, which makes the most sense, then this is certainly their best route in. So I'm really not sure. Did you know Andretti buying this team would almost consign the future of that Himwell factory and all the staff at that Himwell base to being wrapped up pretty inevitably, which would be sad. But of course, if Andretti want to get in F1, they do eventually want to move their whole facility, their main facility anyway, to Fishers, Indiana. Like, that's where they've got the whole new factory, massive factory being built, which will host all of their various disciplines, all of the car development side of things. It's a tough one. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Should Andretti be getting on the phone to Audi and being like, we'll offer you a way out, like, come on, we'll give you like 800 million, or should they stick and try and make their own way in and become an 11th team? Because this does make me worry for the future of Sauber. If Audi are not fully engaged, fully involved, fully interested, and again, we've seen from how the Porsche deal fell away because they wanted too much control, basically, at the end of it. We've seen how the VW group can't necessarily be trusted at their words. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. My name's Tommo. Thanks again. Have a good one. Ta-da.